Welcome to the BF Anderson Technical Report for February 24th. I'll keep it real short this morning. It looks like, the market had a pullback yesterday, mainly the Nasdaq. Now, the Dow hit a new high and so forth, but we are starting to see a little bit of underlying weakness. Now, let's start off with the Nasdaq here, Nasdaq Composite. You can see we're well above the two moving averages, which is the 25-day and the 50-day. The index continues to be in an uptrend. However, we did have a pullback yesterday. Also, futures are down this morning. Looks like we could have somewhat of a pullback. All right, now here's one of the the problem areas for the market, the small cap stocks, which is the S&P 600. You can see that the moving averages are we're getting a little bit of a cross here, potential pullback. The small caps are not acting as well as the rest of the market. Here's the S&P 500. Again, we're seeing a continued uptrend. However, you do have quite a bit of white space in here. A pullback would not be out of the question. However, we are still in an uptrend. Now, as I mentioned before, trendless markets and difficult markets are usually caused by uncertainty and problems with the economy. And we saw that really starting in 2014 through the end of 2016. But right after the election we broke out. So usually difficult markets are followed by easier markets. Nasdaq, same thing. We pretty much had a trendless situation starting in 14 all the way to the end of 16. It too has broken out. Now, I did want to mention one thing. One of the strongest stocks in the market right now is Apple. Apple is coming out with a new phone called the iPhone 8. And I hear it's going to be a barn burner. I hear that they're going to have features that are very significant. I'm hearing things like wireless charging, and I'm also hearing about augmented reality. A lot of things. This new phone could be a big seller. So you might want to keep an eye on the chip suppliers that supply Apple. One would be Broadcom, and that's acting very well. You can see here, nice move up, consolidation, broke out again. However, it is pulling back, and this morning it's pulling back as well. Skyworks Solutions, they make chips as well for the iPhone. They also sell quite a bit of their chips in China. So basically what I'm saying this morning is the market is starting to look a little like it might be on the verge of somewhat of a pullback. However, the trend is continuing to stay strong, and we just hope that this is very temporary. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.